Hello, and thanks for joining us for another episode of MidAmerican Gardener. I'm your host, Tanisha Spain, and joining me in the studio today are three of my best pals, and we're going to talk about all things gardening. We've got a lot to cover, so let's have them introduce themselves quickly, and then off we go. So Jen, we'll start with you.
Hi, I'm Jen Nelson. Wear lots of different hats. Where can you find me? You can find me some of my articles online at groundedandgrowing.com and teaching vegetable gardening at University of Illinois. You can find me beating back weeds and trying to mulch. Despite it all, I will win in my yard, and enjoying being on the show today.
Wonderful. Okay, Jim.
I'm Jim Appleby, and I'm a retired entomologist from the Illinois Natural History Survey. So I deal with the insects and mites attacking trees, shrubs, and flowers.
All right, and Miss Martie.
Hello out there in TV land. I'm Martie Alagna, and I am a private landscaper trying desperately to retire completely. However, I can't help it.
It's in the blood, isn't it?
I walk by beds in public, and I'm like, oh, you don't belong there.
You'll never ever really get out.
You can't. They keep dragging me back in. So, yeah.
Speaking of dragging you back in, let's do that right now. We have a question. And I sent this to you for a little research. Someone came up to us at the Virginia Theater. We had an event there a couple weeks ago, and she wants to do a clover yard. And she was wondering if she's got to rip all that grass out or burn it or scorch the earth in any way to start this. So if you're wanting to replace your grass with clover, how do you do that? And do you have to start from ground zero?
I don't think she needs to take all the grass out. I would say clover spreads by a couple different ways. I mean, it'll move by rhizomes, it'll drop seed. You may have to keep mowing a little bit until the grass is all quelled, but you could slice and seed that yard, especially you rent a slicer seeder, okay? It's got several little blades in it. You drive it over the ground. It's, just little round blades, and they just cut little grooves a couple inches apart all the way. And if you'd run, one direction, then the other direction, and your yard drop, you load the seed in.
Gotcha.
In a hopper, and then and
so it's doing it at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, love that.
So it slices a little cut in the ground, several. I don't know, 18 or something probably.
It's like little rows of.
Yeah, it's like a little.
Like a grid, sort of.
It's like a little disc, and it just cuts. It's like a pasta wheel, only a pizza cutter, but like times 18 or 20, and it cuts a slot and it drops the seed in. So if you slice and seed clover seed into your ground, cut your grass short, really short, slice and seed in there, and then slice and seed the other direction. The clovers, your germination rate's going to be pretty good, and check the label, see what the germination rate is. When you buy clover, or when you buy seed in bulk at all, even grass seed, it'll tell you what the germination rate is on the label.
Gotcha.
So read that. Keep it watered.
How long do you think until it's established and you've got what you want? A couple of seasons? Couple seasons.
Yeah.
Have you done this in your yard? I feel like
We've done it with grass seed.
Grass
We've
seed,
not
okay.
done it with clover, but the slit seeder or the will give you good soil contact with the seeds, because if the seeds are just laying on top or laying on top of thatch, they're not going to do anything.
Gotcha.
No,
okay.
They won't germinate. They'll dry out. Birds will eat them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's right out of Matthew. So buy seed. Hello.
But be patient. It's going to take a while.
You can spray for the grass. You can get an herbicide that is grass specific. And spray that over to take that out and just leave the clover. However,
yeah.
Okay.
So just play with it a little and see what you get, but be patient. It's going to take a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a nice effect. Grass will keep you up out of the mud better than clover will in the winter. So I'm thinking you may not mind a mixed bag when you have to walk across the yard or turn the dog out to go poo-poo. Yeah, a little grass might be.
Might want to keep a little bit of it.
Yes.
Okay. Great advice. Okay, Jim, we are moving to you with something else that we don't really want to talk about. Mealybugs. School
Yeah,
us.
yeah, they can really be a problem. So actually, I've had a couple people ask me about mealybugs, so I made up a program here. The first one is the citrus mealybug. This is the one that's most common. They're about 1/16 inch long, and it's only the females that cause the damage. The males are very tiny, and they don't cause any damage. So if you see mealybug damage on any kind of plant, it's the females that do the damage. And here, the adult females, along both the mature and immature forms, have 6 legs, so they can move around. Most of the time, you don't see them. They're stationary, and you think they don't have any legs, but they can move. Now, they reproduce. The citrus mealybug produces a large number of eggs, and sometimes there may be more than 100 eggs. After egg laying, then the female dies, and then the eggs hatch about 5 days later.
Boo.
And eggs are often hidden in plant crevices, so plants like ivy and Hoya, they're hidden, so they're very difficult to control with any insecticide. Here we see a tremendous number of all stages of the citrus mealybug. You see the numerous nymphs on the arrow to the left. They're sort of yellowish in color. And then the other arrows show the adults. So when you got an infestation like that, you really got a problem. You've got to get those under control because they will kill the plant. Then I talked about males. The males develop in a elongate, white, waxy cocoon. And then the males actually do very little damage. So if you see those little cocoons, those are the male cocoons. They're actually inside. They have their mouth parts into the plant. And this was a plant that they were actually on the undersides of the leaves. Now this shows a picture of the adult male. It's very infrequent to see these male mealybugs because they're very fragile. They don't live very long, and they only live probably about a day after mating. And so they really don't cause that much damage.
That'll do it.
Yep. Now here we see a large number of the female mealybugs. They insert their mouth parts into the plant, and then they feed on the plant sap. They also produce a liquid called honeydew that falls down on anything beneath their feeding site. The plant will maybe have this coating of honeydew. Then what happens is a fungus grows on the honeydew, generally called a black sooty fungus, a black fungus. That knocks out all the light to the leaf, and so then you get defoliation. So not only do the mealybugs cause defoliation, but they also suck the sap, which can really injure the plant. Here we see now in the university greenhouse, I thought, I wonder what would happen if I just let the mealybugs go and let them reproduce as much as they want.
Sciencey. He's very sciencey.
And then you can see what happened. Actually, they killed this Scheffler. The plant, see at the very top, it tried to produce leaves. It couldn't. So the mealybugs just kept attacking it, and eventually the plant died. And then the mealybugs left the plant and moved out. So they can really be a very serious pest. Now let's talk about the long-tailed mealybug. This is another species that's not quite as common, and you can understand why it got the name long-tail, because they have these long projections at the end. And these are a little bit different, that the egg actually hatches internally in the female, and then she produces young mealybugs, are born.
I hope it's painful for her.
Here we see, again, numerous male cocoons on a philodendron leaf, and the females are actually feeding this time on the underside of the leaf, but you can see sort of distortion of the leaves. Now here we see all stages of long-tailed mealybug. And note some of the newly hatched, newly born nymphs, those little tiny yellow specks, they'll move around on the plant. So, and then you see many of the numerous adults pictured here. So let's talk about control now. Now, if you have just a light infestation, you can use like a soft brush, little toothbrush, and just remove them. Or you can use a cotton swab dipped in rubbing alcohol and apply that to the mealybug. Now, I have to caution you, you have to be careful about, there's so many different kinds of house plants. You want to be sure that that alcohol is not killing a spot. So just use it on maybe 1 or 2 leaves and see how it works out. And then maybe about 5 days later, check to see if it's okay. If it's okay, then you can go and kill more of the mealybugs. Or you can apply a soap spray at weekly intervals. And I say about 3 applications at weekly intervals because there's a chance you could miss some of the nymphs or the eggs that are going to be hatching. Now, a company that's really good, really caters to the homeowner, is called Bonai. And it's insecticidal soap. It's all ready to go. It's about a quart size, very handy. It's got a little device where you can spray the plants, so it's a very nice setup. You can use a soap spray to control it, or you can use a neem spray at about 2 applications. Again, Bonide makes a neem max for house plants. You can use that. Now, if you have a plant that's a great big plant, like maybe a palm or a big Hoya plant or Chevalier, you might be advisable to use a systemic. They come as a granular application. And again, Bonide makes a systemic houseplant insect control. It tells you on the label, and I have to say with all these insecticides, be sure that you follow the label directions very, very carefully. And it tells you exactly how much, you know, you can say a teaspoon or 2 teaspoons. Depends on the size of the pot and the size of the plant. And then that you water it in, and then the systemic is taken up by the root systems. And then any insect that is feeding on the foliage or stems, it will kill them. So,
how do people first usually know that they have mealybugs? Is it the honeydew, or is it the actual?
I think probably the actual that you see them.
You see
I
them?
would think so.
Gotcha.
But and you know how you get them most of the time is you buy it. You may go years and not have any problem, but then you buy a plant and you put it in with the other plants, and all of a sudden you got a mealybug problem because that plant that you brought in had
one
mealybugs.
you brought in.
Yeah, so that's a problem. It's probably best to, when you buy a plant, to isolate it from the other plants for maybe a week or 2 and see how things develop.
Okay. Any battle stories about overcoming the odds against mealies, or are we still in that fight?
I'm always in that fight. It's really, I have some orchids at home, and I used to have a really big collection, and I lost them all to mealybugs.
Really?
All of them?
Yeah.
Were they all close and?
Yeah, they
They
were all
just-
close. I had them like on a baker's rack with lights,
Sure.
and I didn't even see the little white cottony bits. They were on the roots because orchids grow
Oh,
in
there
that.
is one called root. And yeah, that's another species.
Yeah,
That's another
Well,
species.
I learned something. I just thought they were kind of all the same, but no. Well, I got that one because it looked fine from above ground, and then all of a sudden this perfectly healthy plant was just like all limp, and I just got
Interesting.
curious and pulled it out of the pot, and the roots were just coated.
Well, you know, you really probably need a systemic insecticide on
Oh,
that
I
one.
figured it out. That I
Yeah.
actually used that bonide.
The granules?
system.
And did it work out?
I do too.
Well, this is years and years later. I had it happen again on my handful of orchids. I don't have nearly as many now. I don't know where they came from. I usually put things outside to kind of break the pest cycle, because if you keep them in the same spot, sometimes they kind of just promotes them.
Yeah.
Because they can be like on the shelf
Yes.
and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
They hide really
But
well.
I had some mealybugs again. I was trying all the insecticidal soap. I just couldn't get a handle on them, and I tried the granular. I wasn't sure how well it would work on an orchid, but it worked great.
Yes, I use that even just to bring the plants in. I'll start that at like the end of August, just to make sure everybody gets their medicine before they come in for the winter, because
Yeah.
why not, you know?
That's a good idea.
And it kills fungus gnats, and that because they
Yes.
feed on the soil.
The
and
other
sometimes-
bane of my
It kills
existence.
scale. It kills scale too.
Yes.
Which
Yeah,
is also
yeah.
really hard to
Oh,
yes.
eradicate.
Scales and aphids. and so
Systemic
it's-
is the only way to go.
It
For
is.
scale,
It
they're
really
awful.
is.
They're
Well,
just
Great information.
they
Thank you,
blend
Jim.
so easily, and it's always on something barky.
Yeah,
you know,
like
so
ficus
they're
or
really
something.
yeah.
Okay. Well, now we have tools and ways to beat the mealybugs.
Ways
Okay.
to kill.
You brought in a lovely little vase.
Yes, I was foraging in my yard to see what is looking good despite it all. Because it has been so ridiculously hot. So I don't know where to start. I'll start here. This is one of my favorite perennials for late summer, early fall. This is called Japanese anemone. And I actually kind of had to hunt for one that was open because it's just starting to open this time of year. And it is a glorious perennial that it takes a little while to get established. But once it is, like, you really don't have to do anything. And that is, like, way tops in my book.
Yes,
So
we love that.
We love that. Like, it did take, like, you hear that rule about, like, 3 years to get sleep, creep, and leap. It definitely follows that rule. But I started out with a little tiny plant that I got from a friend.
And what's the name again?
Japanese anemone.
Okay.
And then these 3 plants here, these 3 flowers are actually all celosia. My kids call this one the brain.
Oh, yeah.
This one I got at a plant sale, but these are little volunteers from last year. I bought some seed down in Arthur, where there's lots of Amish families, and this is a pretty common flower you would see in their gardens. So these are what came up from last year's seed. And I was telling Tanisha, I started the seeds very carefully in a flat, like, you know, every good horticulturalist should, and got a few plants going last summer. And I didn't plant these at all. These just came up on their own, and they came up in different colors. So it's
Like petunias
yeah,
and tomatoes.
I'm fine with it. It was like you're within, like, you're behaved. You're not like too out of control.
Yeah.
But these plants look better than what I did starting.
funny?
Natural selection there.
Exactly, exactly. So, and then the other things I have are lantana. This is one that just loves the heat. It didn't really do much for a while, and now it's going gangbusters. And then, of course, our tried and true zinnias.
Can't go wrong with
you can't go
those.
wrong
You got a
with.
little friend
Oh
over
yeah,
there.
a little spider made an appearance.
Oh, great. Yeah, the spider from my yard.
Yeah, the zinnias are doing really well.
Zinnias
Yeah.
just don't care. They're like,
No.
bring it with the heat's
Bring it.
fine.
They don't care.
Very pretty. And what was the Japanese
Japanese anemone.
anemone? What is the growing behavior?
It's a shade plant and like partial shade, gets a little bit of morning sun. It's kind of a low mounded most of the summer, and then, like this time of year, it's sending up these sort of flower stalks that kind of hang above. It's really pretty.
that's
and,
They're
pretty.
like,
wandy. They move in the
Yeah.
breeze.
yeah, you get a little wind and they kind of shake.
Okay.
It's just
So Jennifer, do you have any animals that cause injury to these plants?
I have
Just mealy bugs. That's all.
I haven't seen any mealy bugs, but deer are probably my number one nemesis right
with
now.
me too.
That's why he's asking. He's trying to get
Yeah,
ideas
that's
for
right.
deer-resistant flowers.
I have not seen any deer damage on these. So they prefer the tomatoes that are nearby.
Man, we were at Lake of the Woods for a different show. They mowed that hosta bed
Oh, I bet they
down
did.
to the stem. I mean, it was like
Salabar.
crazy how much they'd eaten those. So
They love
you're
hostas.
not alone.
Oh,
They are mowing
glad
things
I'm not
down
alone.
all across the viewing area. All right, and we have a design question for Miss Martie. This is from Peggy in Charleston. She's got a section of her yard that has largely been neglected and overgrown, and she says it's wild. She pulls weeds and vines and things from there, but she wants to make this kind of like a cool, casual, low maintenance, no maintenance, kind of perennial wildflower whimsy area. I just made that up. So here's the picture, one of the pictures. And she said, actually she wrote me back and said it does get good morning and early afternoon sun. So we've all got corners like this in our yard that are, you know, just doing their own thing. If you were to show up and advise her, what would you say?
I know she wanted, you know, like you were saying, she sent in the question, they were hoping for a, you know, a wildflower kind of a feel. Perennials, you know, native perennials, natively derived perennials, and I'm going to suggest some catmint, nepeta, Rudbeckia, these guys, little black-eyed Susans, Monarda. Get a mildew-resistant variety. She's got a couple of hydrangea there. She said she was going to put a path between those going back to the doorway of the shed. But keep in mind also that native plants, while they're listed as full sun, they're native plants. So they can survive partial shade just fine. Just fine. Agastaki. Liatris. Are you writing these down?
Hope so, Peggy.
Yeah. There's just a lot of. She's got some daylily there.
Oops.
You could also do some different colors. She said she's kind of got ditch lilies there, you know, and they're great, but they're almost too robust. I mean, you can see she's got a lot more than our blooming, but just try to get something that blooms.
Now, when
all
we
the
were
way
talking
through
about
the
this
summer.
originally, you were saying as low maintenance as you want to go, there is nothing, there is no zero, right?
No.
Right.
No.
So let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay. There is no zero because there is bindweed. There is creeping Charlie. There is horseweed. There is poison hemlock. There is no such thing because all those things are also native plants. So they just go crazy. You know, they just go nuts, and they like partial shade as well. You know, that little bit of moisture at their feet. Hallelujah!
Yeah, up
they're
they
just
go.
so happy with it, and they're going to climb. I mean, I can see from here. If you look in the picture, she's got what appears to be maybe a mulberry sprout, very common, in the back corner there. She could even do some smaller shrubby perennials like Caryopteris. Blooms in late summer, early fall. Blue, kind of lavender blue, blooms. They almost look like a mimosa flower or a scabiosa. Huge butterfly magnets. They love those. And they're a nice blue color when in the doldrums of summer. I mean, they're blooming now. They also come in a variegated leaf. On the very edges of a shady garden where it's a little shadier, I might suggest some big hosta, not the little. Oh, they're so cute. They'll die
big
in there.
boys.
They'll just look. Yeah, get the big uns. Get them big old big uns. You know. So more color the better. You know, get the variegated snot out of them. You know, get as much visual impact as you can out of a plant. I mean, they only bloom during the growing season. I'm gonna say don't even worry about a winter evergreen presence because the heads of things sticking up will be great.
That'll be,
that
yeah.
way they catch the snow. My coneflowers, my sedum, a bigger variety of sedum is a great idea.
Okay.
I have sedum. Most of my sedum is in the shade more than the sun. I mean the tall. I've got some old autumn joy that they don't sell anymore because it tends to flop. Even in the shade, mine doesn't flop. It's like we're here.
Hey.
Okay. So yeah.
So she's got
They're
lots
awesome.
of options. Lots of options. Anything
Anything
you'd
that's
add
even
to that?
partial shade, you know, put it and mulch.
All the mulch you can get.
Yeah.
Okay. Jen, any flowers that you would add to that?
No, you kind of hit all the.
She got 'em?
All the
highlights.
big 'uns.
Maybe some fall aster. I like it.
Oh,
for
yeah.
Stuff that is like late.
Yes.
I'm always looking for things that are late in the season.
In this, yeah, that's asters are nice. She asked if seed or plants.
Yes.
You start plants.
Plants.
Start
Go
plug 'em in.
plants.
Yeah. I mean, even get a hold of the gardening community. There's plenty of garden clubs in the Champaign-Urbana area. Which did you say she's in Charleston?
Yes, Charleston.
I bet there's a garden club in
I
Charleston.
bet there
area,
is.
too.
I bet there
Arthur
is.
area around there, Mattoon. See about it. People will give you starts of stuff. They're happy to share. Dig it up, take it home.
Especially this time of year.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I will caution you against Lysimachia. It will move around quite a little bit. Actually, I've found that Japanese anemone in a place it likes, but it's kind of delightful. And I will say this: there's no weeds.
Yeah, I haven't.
It holds them down.
It does.
Okay.
They've got
It
a
does.
wide maple-like leaf, and it just. I don't think so.
Shades them out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I am thrilled with it. It
Oh,
just
it's
kind
beautiful.
of is very politely staked its claim in one corner, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it took over a couple of things, but I mean, it's not that hard to pull out if
Okay.
you do. So I mean, yeah, spreading delightfully. That's,
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotta have some standards.
Some order, right? All right, Peggy. So that. You've got a lot of options there. Okay, Jim, I want to make sure we get to your. Oh, we have 1 minute. Okay. So quickly,
go.
Jim. Let's
Well,
test
this
your
is
skills.
called brown-eyed Susan. This is just a native plant, but it's so pretty and it grows everywhere.
Yeah.
That is.
And then the
gorgeous.
other one I brought in, this is the button bush again.
Cute.
And this is the seeds where the seeds will be produced. This is a really a nice plant. buttonbush. It's a bush, but it's native, and it has these nice dark foliage, Japanese beetle resistant. So
Yay.
I would promote this plant.
All right. Well, guys, thank you. We ran out of time. That was a great discussion. Thank you so much for watching. If you have questions, you can send them in to us at yourgarden@gmail.com or search for us on socials. Just look for MidAmerican Gardener, and we will see you next time. Good night.